Did you know that the festive cheer of twinkling lights and gingerbread houses hides a darker, more sinister tradition? A tradition where the shadow of Saint Nicholas stretches long and contorted, revealing the horned, clawed figure of Krampus. He's not jolly. He's not bringing gifts. He's coming for the naughty children. And this year, he was coming for Elias. Elias wasn't inherently bad. He was 10, prone to mischief, and easily swayed by the whispers of boredom. This year, the whispers had led him down a particularly destructive path. It began small, with pilfered cookies from the cooling rack and whispered lies about who ate the last gingerbread man. It escalated to tormenting his younger sister, pushing her into snowdrifts and blaming the neighborhood stray. Then came the vandalism, a spray-painted masterpiece of juvenile delinquency on the side of Mrs. Gruber's prize-winning shed. Elias knew he was pushing his luck. His Oma had warned him, her voice raspy with age and tinged with fear, about the Krampus. "He comes for the unkind," she'd said, her eyes reflecting flickering firelight. "He chains the wicked and drags them to his lair." Elias, consumed by the thrill of rebellion, had dismissed her words as antiquated superstition. He was wrong. The first sign of Krampus's arrival was the unsettling stillness. The usual festive bustle of the small Austrian village ceased. The carols stopped. The laughter died. The wind howled like a tortured beast, whipping snow into a frenzied dance. Then came the bells, deep, resonant clangs that seemed to vibrate through the very bones of the houses. They weren't the merry jingles of Santa's sleigh. These bells told like a death knell. Elias, huddled in his bed, pulled the covers tight around him. He'd heard the stories, the whispered legends, but he'd never truly believed. Now, fear, cold and sharp, pierced through his bravado. He heard the crunch of heavy boots on the snow-covered roof, the scrape of claws against the tiles. He squeezed his eyes shut, trying to convince himself it was all a dream. A heavy thud shook the house. The attic door creaked open. The bells grew louder, closer. Elias whimpered, burying his face in the pillow. The floorboards in the hallway groaned under an immense weight. The temperature in the room plummeted. He felt a presence, dark and oppressive, filling the space. Slowly, cautiously, Elias peeked from beneath the covers. Silhouetted against the dim light from the hallway stood a figure. Tall, hulking, with a pair of enormous curved horns that scraped the ceiling. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent red light, piercing the darkness. Its tongue, long and serpentine, flicked between razor-sharp teeth. A thick chain, heavy and rusted, hung from its clawed hand. It was Krampus. The creature let out a guttural growl, a sound that vibrated deep within Elias's chest. It reached out a clawed hand, its touch icy against Elias's skin. Panic seized him. He scrambled back, desperate to escape, but the Krampus was too fast. The chain snaked out, wrapping around Elias's ankle, biting into his flesh. The Krampus dragged him from the bed, across the floor, and out into the hallway. Elias screamed, his voice raw with terror, but his cries were swallowed by the howling wind. He caught a glimpse of his parents frozen in their bed, eyes wide with horror, unable to move, unable to help. He was alone with the beast. The Krampus dragged him through the house, splintering furniture and shattering glass. It hauled him out into the blizzard, the icy wind whipping his face. The bells clanged relentlessly, a symphony of dread. Elias saw other children, chained and weeping, being dragged through the snow. He recognized some of them, children from the village, children he had tormented. Now, they were all bound for the same terrifying fate. The Krampus dragged them through the snow-covered forest, towards a chasm that yawned black and deep in the earth. The air grew heavy with the stench of sulfur. The cries of the children echoed through the trees. Elias knew, with chilling certainty, that this was the Krampus's lair, a place from which there was no escape. He struggled against the chains, desperate for a chance, any chance, to redeem himself. He cried out, not in fear, but in remorse. He confessed his misdeeds, begging for forgiveness. The Krampus paused at the edge of the chasm, its glowing eyes fixed on Elias. For a moment, a flicker of something that might have been contemplation passed across its monstrous face. Then, with a roar that shook the very ground, the Krampus hurled Elias into the abyss. The darkness swallowed him whole. The last thing Elias heard, as he plunged into the unknown, was the chilling clang of the Krampus's bells, a grim reminder that the season of giving also held a season of reckoning. And sometimes, forgiveness was a gift not even Krampus could bestow.